Ah, sports. There's no denying they're immensely popular and lucrative. So lucrative that in the big leagues, it's pretty much assured that an athlete is in for a life of good living. But what are their paths really like? From Floyd Mayweather's insane mansions to, well, whatever this is, let's take a look at some of the most incredible homes of sports stars. What's cooking? Welcome to the gorgeous 8-bedroom Georgia manor house of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Just imagine the smell of pie emanating from that stunning rustic kitchen. How relaxing. Then again, this is The Rock. He'd probably be more likely to wake you up at 4 a.m. to do laps around the place. The secluded country home was built in 2002 in the style of a French country manor, and the grounds boast a 150-year-old farmhouse, which is now the caretaker's cottage. Indeed, the estate doubles as a horse ranch and comes with a 12-stall barn. The manor comes complete with walnut hardwood floors and bathrooms crafted out of expensive white marble. And when Dwayne's not working out those enormous muscles, he can work out his brain by reading in his cozy personal library. And the luxury doesn't stop when you go outside. As well as a lake with its own fountain, the grounds feature a stunning saltwater pool with a hot tub and pool house for getting changed in. Wow. So, it may come as a surprise that Johnson went to list the grand property in 2021 for $7.5 million, $2 million less than what he paid for it in 2019. Why sell at a loss after only 2 years? Did it turn out to be haunted? Was there too much paper, and he was scared of being defeated once and for all? Soccer Schloss. Looking after the environment is pretty damn important. So, living in an eco-friendly house has to be a good thing, right? Especially if you could custom build it to reflect your personality. Well, Argentinian soccer superstar Lionel Messi had precisely that idea in 2013. So, he commissioned celebrated Spanish environmentalist architect Luis de Garrido to make his dream a reality. Set to be built in Llavanere Sant Andreu, north of Barcelona, it was quickly dubbed the Soccer House because, well, just look at it. One side of the complex is covered in grass, with an entrance and garage that looks like a penalty box, and the other side is a massive swimming pool. The house itself is 2 stories high and looks like a big ball, with one half made from mirrored glass and the other covered in green grass. All that glass allows a ton of natural light in and reduces overall energy consumption. But sadly, due to an apparent lack of serious financial backing or interest from Messi, the house never actually made it beyond the design stage and was never built. Not to say Messi's in need. He boasts a huge portfolio of fancy properties, everywhere from Barcelona to Miami to Paris. And in 2022, he spent a whopping $3.7 million on a mansion in his home city of Rosario. I wonder what a home built specifically for me would look like. Drogba's Disney Digs. Soccer striker Didier Drogba is one of the most celebrated people in his sport. Considered one of the greatest players to have ever played for the UK's Chelsea FC and the greatest African player of all time, it seems fitting that he'd live in something like a castle. Which is probably why false clickbait articles back in 2020 claimed this was Drogba's current dig. Looks pretty swanky, right? Sure, but it ain't his. It actually belongs to the man with the smuggest face in the world, Russian oligarch Yuri Shefler. Easily confused, I guess. Nope, Drogba owns this stunning $7.8 million mansion in Surrey, England, with 6 bedrooms, 7 breathtaking bathrooms, and a super fancy spiral staircase through the center of the house. This place is as majestic as it comes. And did I mention it comes with its own leisure complex and pool? Oh, well, it does. If you're wondering why all the rooms are empty, though, Drogba's actually put all 11,000 square feet up for sale, possibly because he used to live there with his ex, Lala Diakite. Or maybe he's just looking for an even bigger pad. After all,
Soccer stars aren't generally known for their modest abodes.
In 2016, British soccer legend David Beckham and his equally renowned wife, Victoria, were looking into buying the outrageously luxurious Spelling Manor in Holmby Hills, California. And if you thought Drogba's place looked nice, you've seen nothing yet. Coming in at a colossal 56,500 square feet,
It's over 5 times bigger than Drogba's already huge mansion.
in fact, it's bigger than the White House. That translates to a mind-blowing 123 rooms, including 27 bathrooms and 14 bedrooms. 27 bathrooms? I could poop for a month and only just have seen them all, not to mention the custom theater, bowling alley, and full tennis court. It seems the wallet-destroying $200 million asking price was too much even for the Beckhams, though, as they didn't even go through with buying the property. Eventually, Canadian multi-billionaire and owner of the Edmonton Oilers ice hockey team, Daryl Katz, scooped it up in 2019 for $120 million. Ah, cheap then.
Not to say the Beckhams live in some ramshackle hut. Oh no. In 2013, they splurged nearly $50 million buying and renovating this beautiful Grade 2 listed home in Holland Park, London. Though they keep the interior pretty hush-hush, their social media provides a tantalizing glimpse at some of the classy rooms inside. And the power couple also dropped over $15 million on a converted barn in the Cotswolds back in 2016. The secluded property has plenty of open green space and comes with a swimming pool, soccer pitch, and, most surprisingly, a beekeeping setup. But that's not all. As well as owning an apartment in Dubai's Burj Khalifa, they now own a 10,300 square foot mega apartment on the top floor of Miami's 1,000 Museum Building, too. Crikey. Details are few and far between, but considering the average apartment in the building goes for $11 million, I'm sure they spent considerably more. That's some portfolio. If you had the cash, would you splash it on so many properties? Let me know in the comments.
And while you're there, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons? That way you can keep up with all my amazing content. Clicked? Great. Okay, moving forward.
Ham's Houses. Widely renowned as one of the greatest Formula One drivers of all time, Lewis Hamilton has an extravagant portfolio of properties under his belt. Back in 2017, the racing star bought a huge 8,900 square foot penthouse in Tribeca, New York for $43.9 million. Boasting a kitchen that would make any chef drool, the 6-bed penthouse also features multiple terraces to view the beautiful downtown Manhattan skyline. It feels more like a mansion, though even mansions rarely have the grand 20-foot-tall ceilings on display here. Damn. Hamilton sold the incredible penthouse for $49.5 million just 2 years after buying it. But that's not to say he's without a roof over his head. After selling, he quickly snapped up a unit in Tribeca's esteemed 70 Vestry building, which has also hosted Tom Brady, for $40.7 million. He also owns an opulent mansion in London he bought for $23 million, equipped with 7 huge bedrooms, a vast kitchen diner, and a number of stunning bathrooms. Oh, and did I mention he has a $40 million crib in Monte Carlo and an $8 million mansion in the Colorado mountains too? Jeez. And while he's more secretive about these properties, one thing's for sure. They're better than my cruddy one-bed apartment. Floyd Mayweather. Undefeated boxing champion Floyd Mayweather Jr. needs no introduction. But what about the roof over his head? Or should I say, roofs? Mayweather has 2 grand mansions, one in Los Angeles and the other in Las Vegas. The LA crib is a whopping 25,000 square feet and set him back a knockout $25 million. Hooey! Then again, considering the retired boxer reportedly earned some $300 million from his 2017 fight with Conor McGregor alone, $25 million is hardly a drop in the ocean. From an elegant dining room with its own fireplace to another, more elegant dining room with its own fireplace, it's hard not to see where the money went. The stylish kitchen keeps up the visage, and if you need the restroom after eating, damn, that might be the biggest one I've ever seen. Outside is just as luxurious, with a classy chill-out area and pool. However, my favorite room is this, an entire private cinema that can sit 20 people. I wonder if he's ever watched one of his own fights in there. Not to say his other property, a $10 million Las Vegas mansion, is small fry. With a beautiful courtyard and a pool as its centerpiece, it's one of the most visually arresting homes I've seen. When Mayweather's not standing on the edge of the pool looking stoic, he might be wandering around his colossal 30-car garage. Yeah, I'm serious. Apparently there's only 17 cars in there at the moment, but that's still 16 more than anyone needs. At least he mixes it up and they don't all look almost identical though. Tiger's Den. Despite the controversy surrounding him, Tiger Woods is still undoubtedly one of the most successful golfers ever, and being good at professional golf has the potential to be far more lucrative than other sports. That's because golfers earn most of their money through tournament winnings and endorsements, rather than a traditional salary. The better they perform, the more money they earn. And because it's not as physically demanding as sports like football, golfers can continue to rake in that moolah well into their 30s and even 40s, something Woods' residence sure reflects. Worth over $52 million, the colossal mansion in Florida's exclusive Jupiter Island neighborhood consists of a 3,300 square foot living space and a 6,400 multi-purpose building. Whoa. And while the living space boasts a rustic dining room and vast living rooms, the larger building is set up for entertaining guests, though that's not to say the outside is any less impressive. Equipped with its own private golf course and a mooring area for Woods' boats, the word opulent seems understated, and that's without even mentioning those pools. Even all this might not be enough for the golfing legend, though. According to reports, he also invested $100 million into a tropical residence complex in Nassau, and once owned a 62-acre private island in Sweden. That's it, I'm taking up golf.
Island in the sun. Imagine the scene. You're sipping a refreshing glass of your favorite drink on your own private tropical island off the coast of Miami. You've got almost 20,000 square feet of land, an absolutely gorgeous ivy-covered mansion, and even a dock to park your personal yacht. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? Well, if you're tennis icon Anna Kournikova back in 2010, you wouldn't have to imagine. That's because she had a coveted mansion in Miami's prestigious gated community, Sunset Islands. Yep, once the resident behind the beautiful gates of 2345 Lake Avenue, Kournikova was able to enjoy midday strolls through the mesmerizing grounds of archways and fountains, dine in a dazzling eat-in kitchen, and wake up every day to views that would turn even me into a morning person. And if she ever fancied eating out, there are numerous world-class restaurants on the islands themselves, so no need to even leave the community. Strangely, the house has no tennis court though. Instead, there's a miniature basketball court. Maybe Anna's planning on switching it up. Well, I doubt it. She was forced out of tennis way back in 2003 due to a chronic back condition, and I don't think landing a slam dunk would help with that. Damn. You won't find her on Sunset Islands anymore anyway. She sold the snazzy property for $7.4 million back in 2012. Nowadays, she's chilling with her partner, singer Enrique Iglesias, in a $28 million pad on an even more privileged island in Miami, Indian Creek. And she got a tennis court this time. With a population of just 84 incredibly affluent people, the secluded islands earned itself the nickname Billionaire Bunker. So, despite a career spanning just 8 years, Kournikova has earned more money than I'll probably ever see. Now, where did I leave my old tennis racket? Uh-oh. When it comes to house design, some ideas are truly incredible. Others, however, are incredibly stupid. Like back in 2010, when British soccer player Gary Neville tried to make an underground eco-bunker. The $10 million zero-carbon hideaway was designed to blend beautifully with the Lancashire moorland surrounding it. In reality, it ended up looking like the home of British kids' TV show characters, the Teletubbies. Extending to over 8,000 square feet and set over 2 floors, the outrageous proposal was supposed to have a sleek, ultra-modern kitchen as its centerpiece. From there, each of the 6 pedals coming off it would house all the other rooms. And to keep it eco-friendly, Neville wanted the whole building to be powered by wind turbine. So there were some lofty aims here. Unfortunately for him, however, the project was a complete failure. Neville's would-be neighbors complained vigorously about his plans to build a 130-foot turbine, so he backed off out of fear of alienating them, and the Teletubby house remained forever a concept. After putting the plot of land up for sale, he tried to sell it for around $810,000, but had to slash the asking price down to $630,000 in 2020 due to a predictable lack of interest.
It's unclear if he ever managed to shift it, and Gary keeps tight-lipped about his current home in Manchester. He does, however, own a portfolio of properties in the British city, including 2 luxury hotels. So not all his business ventures have gone quite so badly.
What do you think? The Rasslin' McMansion. Vince McMahon. Probably the most, intense person we'll cover. Former CEO and chairman of the WWE, the eccentric billionaire, hasn't been shy of getting in the ring himself and letting his employees, well, knock him around a bit. So it makes sense he'd need somewhere to mellow out after taking a few chairs to the chin, right? Yes, but no. McMahon's lavish home in Connecticut is definitely a place of peace, visually speaking, surrounded by tall trees and all-natural open spaces. And when you get through the enormous gates, you're greeted by a beautiful fountain and phenomenal architecture. But it would be a lie to say the property is actually a place of peace. I don't think Vinnie Mac has a clue what that phrase means. On top of his 1:30 a.m. workouts and sleeping just 4 hours a night, his eccentricities stretch to being disgusted at the loss of self-control people exhibit when they sneeze. Right. Indeed, instead of chilling in his huge pool, he's been known to throw guests into it as a prank. Looks like old Vince has grown tired of these shenanigans now, though, as the mega home is currently up for sale at around $20 million. Man, if walls could speak, I'm sure we'd hear enough stories about what happened in this place for an entire series. Venus Williams' Last Resort. Back in 2019, esteemed tennis superstar Venus Williams purchased a home in Florida, and it's one of the grandest homes you could imagine. Choosing not to buy anywhere near any of the many gator-infested swamps, Venus bought this lavish property for a cool $9.6 million. And if you think that sounds expensive, it was originally on sale for almost $11 million. With its own pool, glamorous bathrooms, and some funky paths leading to a private beach, this house is truly something to behold, making it a wonderful place to retire, which was the rumor going round at the time she purchased it. Luckily for the world of tennis, this turned out not to be true. Unfinished, unbothered. Even if you're not a soccer fan, there's no way you haven't heard the name Cristiano Ronaldo. The Portuguese player signed to Manchester United at the phenomenally young age of 18 and is widely regarded as one of the best players of all time. Unless, of course, you ask his neighbors. They hate him. You see, Chris has been a bit of a nuisance of late. Just 40 minutes outside of Lisbon, he and his partner, Georgina Rodriguez, commissioned what is expected to be the most expensive house in Portugal when it's finished. It should look like this, and is set to feature a gargantuan 1,000 square foot master bedroom. In reality, however, it looks more like this. Yeah, the loud, messy construction project is a year behind schedule, and, as of the time I'm making this video, it's already been going on for 3 years. The locals' gardens are being covered in dust, and one street has even had to be entirely closed to accommodate for the building work. On top of this, when the mansion's finished, there's a good chance it'll have sightlines into people's backyards. So, to say Ronaldo's neighbors-to-be are unhappy is an understatement. But with the soccer star reportedly having spent $35 million already, there's no way he's going to just stop. If he ever does move in, though, he ain't going to be getting a very warm welcome. Then again, I'm sure he won't care. 23 problems. Michael Jordan. There's no denying he's one of basketball's greats. But when it comes to property, he's been less successful. Jordan put this enormous mansion he owned in the Chicago suburbs up for sale way back in 2012. But as of April 2023, it was still on the market. But the 56,000 square foot compound sure isn't suffering from any lack of features. It houses a tennis court, gym, full-size basketball court, and a putting green. So you'd certainly never be bored. There's even 2 luxurious offices to get any last-minute work done in style. It wouldn't just be work you'll be doing in style, though. The super sleek dining room looks more like it belongs on a spaceship. And for when it's time to relax, I can't imagine anywhere better than this insanely spacious lounge, aside from the spectacular crescent moon infinity pool, of course. Cool. To get into the property in the first place, though, you need to pass through a pair of gates with Jordan's jersey number, 23, welded onto them. Yeah, that's where a lot of the trouble MJ has had trying to sell the property probably stems from. It's just too personalized. I mean, would you want to buy a car that looked like me? No, wait. Of course you would. Bad example. Anyway, originally listed for $29 million, Jordan failed to shift it and, despite its incredible number of luxuries, had to keep slashing the price down to attract any interest at all. At one point, he even offered to include a pair of free Nike Air Jordans, his signature sneaker, to sweeten the deal. Even that almighty offer proved unsuccessful, though, until June 2023 when he finally settled on selling the Grand Abode for just $6.8 million. Yeah, that's a whopping $22.2 million loss. I wouldn't feel too sorry for him, though. His net worth is supposedly in the ballpark of $2 billion, making him the richest athlete in the world. Dang. Just don't get asking him for any real estate tips. Kicking back. NFL legend Aaron Rodgers has had an illustrious football career. But when he's not on the pitch, you'll likely find him kicking back in his swanky $9.5 million New Jersey mega home. I don't blame him. Despite having huge windows, this ultra-modern swag pad is still super private due to all the trees surrounding it. So, while Rodgers can chill in his airy living room and look out at that magnificent view of the New York skyline, nobody else can look in. Not that that's the only living room. Come on now. Up the stairs, past the grand piano, there's an even bigger living space, and the kitchen's nothing to scoff at either. Apparently, those big black doors have a fridge inside them, but I'd struggle to find that stumbling downstairs at 1 a.m. Then again, I wouldn't want to leave my bedroom at all if it looked like this. Jeez. Along with the massive bed, the master bedroom also features its own private lounge, study area, and bathtub, though that doesn't look so private. If somehow this pad still doesn't float your boat, though, the vast wine cellar and sauna might just clinch it for you. Okay, I'm getting too envious. Let's move on. McEnroe's Malibu abode. Tennis is such a strange sport. It's like Pong, but with people. And the sport brings with it some pretty interesting players too, like John McEnroe. Outside from his often hilarious bursts of rage on the court, McEnroe is also renowned as one of the greatest tennis players in the world. Indeed, his illustrious career has landed him a net worth of $100 million, which, naturally, means some pretty stylish pads. This gorgeous modern property that he bought with his wife Patti Smith for over $19 million is maybe the most outstanding. Multi-leveled and elevator-equipped, with 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, the Malibu-based mansion was built overlooking a beautiful beach, and the 3 guest rooms, penthouse-level master bedroom, and dining room all face the ocean. Man, it's hard to imagine anything more serene. And I've got some good news for you. If you want to stay here, you can. Back in 2018, the couple put the property up for rent. Cool! Now, are you ready for the bad news? It'll cost you $125,000 a month. Not so cool. They must be earning a fortune off of it. Maybe the beach view wasn't enough for them, and their plan is to go all out and buy a house floating on the water. Unfortunately, this watery pad is only proof of concept right now, but I wouldn't blame them for being interested. I prefer my feet firmly on the ground, though, preferably with some chicken nuggets within reaching distance. Coveted castle. Does anybody remember those little baseball cards you'd get in cereal boxes and trade them on the playground? No? Well, they used to be a big deal. Back in the 1990s, Derek Jeter was a coveted card. That's because he was the undisputed king of baseball, with an incredible home to boot. Jeter's outstanding mansion, officially named Tiedemann Castle, sits overlooking Greenwood Lake in Orange County, New York. It dates back to as far as 1903, though the main house was gutted by a fire in the 1940s and had to be restored in 2003. But the renovation brought with it some incredible new features: a beautiful rock waterfall, balcony views of the lake, fountains, and private gardens, and even a replica of the Statue of Liberty. Jeter was a New York Yankee after all. The main house boasts a spacious foyer and an array of sweeping staircases. There's a well-needed elevator, too, for residents to go back and forth between the office, the several bedrooms, or the personal gym. Not to mention the rustic bar-style social area.
But the grandest thing about it, 2 fully blown turrets. One stands tall in the middle of the estate, while the second overlooks the river. Though neither are just for show, the riverside turret is my favorite.
Made of beautiful stone with a glass-windowed top. It doubles as a viewing point. Wow, it's like that castle out of Shrek, only instead of a fire-breathing dragon and pits of lava, it's got a serene riverside cloaked in trees. I know which one I'd rather stay at.
Sing Star. Golfing legend Vijay Singh has netted over $70 million in total career earnings. And with money like that, it's no surprise the sporting superstar doesn't skimp out when it comes to where to live. As evidenced by the huge 9,000 square foot Hawaiian mansion he scooped up for $5.5 million back in 2009. The drive up to the house alone gives a sense of how beautiful the area is. And indeed, it sits on over 51 acres of land with sweeping oceanside views. Man, the inside isn't too shabby either, as well as a super fancy living room to relax in and a spacious kitchen to cook. There are 5 cozy bedrooms, and the master suite even has its own fireplace, which is just one of the several around the mansion. Jeez, seems like Singh's a bit of a pyromaniac. There's also a billiard room, gym, and library. Let's hope all those books don't go up in flames. But if the golfing great is in bed and suddenly fancies a book to read, he doesn't need to climb down a pesky flight of stairs. Oh no, there's a rustic-looking elevator to use instead. Shockingly, it appears Singh got tired of all these luxuries though, as he put the grand abode up for sale in 2022 for a colossal $23 million, more than quadrupling its initial purchase price. But with the listing no longer available, it's unclear if he managed to shift it or not. $23 million. If he does sell, I suspect the next place he buys will be even grander. Golfers, huh?
Beverly Hills Cup winner. When we talk about tennis greats, Naomi Osaka has to be in the conversation. Ranked world number 1 in women's singles, Osaka was the first person to win major titles against fellow legend Serena Williams. Oh, and she was the first tennis player to do a property deal with pop heartthrobs the Jonas Brothers. Yep, you heard that right. Her former 3,100 square foot LA home once belonged to them, and you can see why it's so coveted. With 3 beautiful bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a personal gym, private swimming pool, and those views, I'd be on it in a heartbeat. It seems it was lacking ample space to practice tennis, though, because Osaka would go on to sell the property just 3 years later to the creator of lyrics website Metro Lyrics, Milan Tesovic, for $8.7 million. This house sure has seen some names pass through it. I wonder who'll be next. Miley Cyrus, Chris Evans, or, oh my god, maybe even Taylor Swift. Guess I'll have to keep my eyes peeled. LeBron the Don. As great as the internet is, it's also prone to misinformation. Everyone online went wild when they found out this 38,000 square foot mega mansion in Los Angeles belongs to basketball superstar LeBron James. Only, well, it doesn't. It never did. So what gives? Well, it's not hard to see why people would think it belonged to him. He does live in LA, and with an astonishing net worth of $1 billion, it's definitely not out of his price range, despite being worth a whopping $250 million. Jeez. Yep, it's one of the country's most expensive homes, but you get a lot of bang for that buck. Nicknamed the Giga Mansion, the insane home has 12 bedrooms, a home cinema, 2 wine cellars, a bowling alley, 3 kitchens, an infinity pool with outdoor TVs, sub-level garage that holds 12 luxury cars and 10 motorbikes that the house comes with, and, a helipad. Yes, a helipad. Crikey. So LeBron might not live there, but he sure as hell wishes he did. Not that he's exactly lacking in the property department. The Lakers star owns a beautiful newly constructed home in Brentwood, LA, as well as a mansion in Ohio. And he's building another in Beverly Hills, with all 3 worth around $70 million combined. That's cool and everything, but is it as cool as a helipad? Fat chance. Goat Moat. American quarterback Tom Brady is a pretty divisive figure in the world of football. But off the pitch, he's a bit of a property hawk, owning several spectacular homes from Miami to Manhattan. Of all his dazzling abodes, though, none can compare to the LA mega mansion he commissioned to be built with his then-wife, Gisele Bündchen. First things first, it has a moat. Can we just get that out of the way now? Because, come on, moat. In fact, the entire 22,000 square foot estate looks distinctly like a castle. Complete with bridge, the moated mansion also has 8 bedrooms, a curved staircase connecting a 2-storied foyer, a gourmet kitchen, and a personal gym. Not to mention the ludicrous size of the clothes cupboards. But to be honest, the inside of the house isn't much what I'm interested in. It's the outside that does it for me. From the peaceful sounds of waterfalls flowing into the pond to the absolutely incredible view over LA from the infinity pool, this is somewhere I'd happily stay forever. I mean, just imagine kicking back with a good book here before sliding into that pool. Real shame I don't have $20 million just lying around. Man, all of this has me feeling like I should maybe move out of my 5x5 cardboard box. Meh, it's cheap. Anyway, that's it for now. Which of those amazing abodes would you most like to live in? Let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching.